everybody, and welcome to another edition of the STC Coaches Corner here on Sportstownchicago.com, sponsored by the Illinois Center for Broadcasting. Today we have four-time state championship in a row coach and one of his star players with us today from Montini Catholic, Coach Andriano, and we have, of course, Dylan Thompson here with us. Gentlemen, first off, thank you so much for being here today.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Now, Coach, we got to start with this. 34 years now, time and time again, we were talking before the show that you've done interview after interview after interview, place and place and place, question. Does it ever get old?
I'm getting better at it.
Okay.
So getting old, no, it doesn't really get old. Winning doesn't get old.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to get the notoriety, and it's great to have a little bit of, FaceTime, so to speak. But I just get a chance to work with a great bunch of kids, and so this stuff is great for our school.
Yeah, Coach, what brought you to Montini?
Well, it was my first job. My first job right out of college. Graduated in 1974 from Millikan University. Jobs weren't easy to get like today, so I got a chance to become a teacher and a coach. Was what I wanted to do. So my first job right out of college was the one that ended up being my only job.
Yeah.
So I really love it at the school. I love the place. I love the kids. I love the people that I work with. It's just a great environment.
Yeah, well, it's a great thing to be a part of. Now Dylan, will jump to you for this one. We talked earlier what brought you to Montini. Talk us through your football career before you got to Montini. When did you start playing?
I started playing football in 2000. I was 4 years old. It was my first year of flag football. Been playing ever since.
Now, did you play middle school, junior high, all the way through?
All the way through.
When did you start playing tackle?
Tackle was 2003.
Now, what made you decide, you know what, I want to take my football talents, as everybody likes to say now, I want to take that to Montini?
Well, I grew up watching a bunch of great players. My cousin played football in high school. I went to a lot of his games, and it just got me motivated, and like, oh, this is really cool, what he's doing for his school and everything. He's really dedicated. Now,
Coach, 34 years, I'm sure a few things have changed, and I've read a lot of press that you said before, it's not what it used to be. What would you say is one of those things that really changed?
Well, the school physically has changed quite a bit. The buildings themselves, we've added on. We have a new field house. We added on to our gym. We have a brand new human resource center, a library with brand new science rooms, top, state of the art. A new math wing, new math classrooms. So there's been a new football field. We put in a turf football field and redid the track. It's a great stadium for the football, soccer, lacrosse, rugby teams. So it's been a lot of things over the years. The physical part of the school has improved tremendously. So, a lot of credit to our administrators and people who have a vision for the school. Jim Secreto is our president.
Absolutely.
He's a guy who's really been very significant in getting all of these things done. So it's been great to be there all these years. I've been there for 39 years overall, and I can tell you that it's been very gratifying to see the place change and grow and become the fine school that it is.
Sport of football itself, how has that changed at the high school level?
Well, the athleticism, first of all, from the actual players has been, I think, the biggest change in terms of the skill players, the size of the linemen. You can take a look at Dylan. He's 6'5", 270 pounds. He's just a junior. He's still a growing boy. Yeah. We have some big linemen, and the skill players, the speed and the skill that they have is by far better than it's ever been. The coaching staffs have been a lot better. Have gotten a lot better over the years. We used to have, when I first started, we had a 3-man varsity staff. Now we have a 10-man varsity staff. So we have a college coaching staff, a coach at every position. The facilities have gotten better. So everything has stepped up. The coverage is better.
Sure.
The fan base is bigger. It's been a real growing in the sense of the fans and the whole attention to the game. So the high school football is becoming bigger and bigger. And of course, obviously, the kids want to go on and play at the college level. So,
Sure.
That's never changed. That's always still huge. But, all of the media coverage now that the high schools get and so on, it's been a huge boost.
Yeah. Now, Dylan, you were a 8th grader when Coach here won his first of 4 championships in a row. What was it like knowing you were going to a school that just won a championship?
It was crazy because the last time Addison Trail won a championship, I can't even remember, and seeing like the emotion, all the people in the stands for that first state game, it was just a good feeling. Everybody was like supporting your team. There's maybe 100-something people at Addison Trail games when I go on Fridays.
Now, talk us through when you joined Montini, you became a Bronco. What was it like being on that freshman team and then moving up now, championship after championship after championship?
The speed of the game freshman year was a big jump definitely from 8th grade year. Going up against the varsity during playoffs, helping them out, was an even bigger jump, but actually playing on the varsity at the next level. And sophomore year, I was pulled up. It's really fast. I didn't expect it, so I had a lot of work to do in the offseason. I wanted to be ready for my junior season.
How about a fun story about Coach?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
That's allowed, of course,
Okay. He'll always find one thing that gets you angry. For me, he'll call me 6'4" or 6'3" in front of every coach he sees, and he'll just push my buttons. It'll be pretty funny.
And you really are 6'6"?
6'5".
Okay, all right, well that's fine because you're a little bit shorter. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Now, how do you see Coach motivate all your teammates? I mean, again, you were involved in a game 2 years ago. The final score of that one, by my notes, was 70-45. You go from 70-45 game to this past one, 19-6 for the championships, and we'll get to that in a minute. But what was it like knowing that you have a coach that can coach no matter what the circumstances are?
Well, it's obviously always good, especially when you put up that many points against a great program like Joliet Catholic. Watching the game on the sidelines was definitely a lot better from watching it in the stands. Being able to be on that side, being able to be there was the best feeling of my life. First time I really felt part of a team, and I just can't wait till next season.
Are you thinking about college at all?
Yes, sir.
Have you any ideas yet where you may want to go?
My top 4 right now are Michigan State, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Ohio State.
So sticking Big 12? Big 10.
Big
I'm just
10.
kidding. I'm just kidding. No, we had a player in recently that was talking about Texas versus Ole Miss, and it's like, wow, you're just completely skipping out on the Big 10. That's fine. That's fine. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, talking more about this season's action with Coach Andriano and Dylan Thompson here, SportstownChicago.com's Coach's Corner. Welcome back. SportstownChicago.com's coverage of the Coach's Corner here. SportstownChicago.com brought to you by the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, joined again by Montini's own Coach and Dylan. We're going to jump really quickly to this season. So much, Coach, going for your 4th. Some people thought you were going to retire. There were a lot of stories out there at the end of last school year. Hey, you may not come back. You decided to come back, and you got 2 more coming on the end of it. What were the challenges coming in for that, trying to go for that 4th championship in a row?
Well, first of all, everybody's gunning for you.
Yeah.
So that was challenge number 1. But the biggest challenge always is to get the team ready. And that's not as hard as some people may think, because these guys are very committed and dedicated, and they work extremely hard. But any coaching staff will tell you the biggest challenge is fitting the pieces to the puzzle together the right way, getting the right guys in the right places, and then learning, the ins and outs of your team. What are they good at? What are they better at than other things? And being good situation football team in certain situations. What are you going to do in these situations? Who are you counting on? So, you know, there's the offense, the defense, the special teams, getting the kids into the right positions, and then becoming a team. So, you know, over the years, we've gotten very good at it. Our coaching staff is excellent. The kids believe in us. So, you know, we don't have to waste a lot of time convincing them about, you know, what we're doing. So, you know, it's been very, very gratifying again to see our kids develop and buy in and believe in what we're doing. And you know, when you get that attitude,
sure,
when you get that overall approach to things, then things come together faster. So we have a very fast learning curve. Our kids are into it right away, and our schedule is very tough, so we have to be. But you know, and when you play football, there's always going to be adversity and challenges, and you know, our kids really, I think they really react well when they're under pressure.
Yeah. Now, Coach Dillon was talking about the difference between the 70-45 game to 19-6. Talk us through that difference in your mind as a coach. You got one game where everybody's scoring. It's pretty much, hey, who's the last team to score? You're going to win that one. And then this year was a defensive battle, and that one touchdown was all the difference.
Yeah, 2 years ago, that was just that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd never experienced anything like that before in a football game. I'd never seen that kind of offense, and there were just some really special players on both sides, and we were lucky enough to be able to outscore a great team, and really we shut them out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So our defense really came up with some big plays, and again, I think that's just a credit to their attitude that they just never were going to ever give in, you know. And so when you score that many points, you never think that that's even possible.
Yeah.
So, you know, you kind of go with it, and you just keep coaching and playing, and you know, we were able to do some really good things late in the game, and we came out on top. This year, it was a completely different game. You know, two really good, tough physical teams. Good defensive teams, both us and Morris. Morris had a very physical, big group of kids. So you know, they actually played us as tough as anybody. Their defense, you know, to hold us to 19 points. They did a great job. So it was a completely different game. You know, there's adjustments that have to be made in every game. No two games are ever the same. Yeah. Every game is different. And again, you know, I give our coaches and our kids a lot of credit for being able to adjust and adapt and do the right things.
Now, Dylan, you were talking about, you know, your differences before we took the break, the difference between the two games. So often, things that coaches say resonate with us. What was the difference between maybe a pregame speech for the big game, the 70-45 game, versus this one, 19-6? What was the difference? Was there a different mood? Was there different things said before each game? Because again, you had just won a state championship. What's different that second time around?
There wasn't anything different. Morris just came out to play. It was a really tough physical team. One of the biggest offensive lines we faced all year. Really hard to get through. A lot of good players on that team. Very physical. But their defense and their offense were probably the best we've seen all season.
Coaching techniques changed throughout the season for you?
I'd say the same. Everything. Coaches got more into it toward the playoffs. More people came to help toward the playoffs because they had more time on their hands. And a lot of drill and skill, pounded in there, get everything right.
Now, you had mentioned earlier in a joking way that sometimes Coach motivates you by calling you shorter than you are. What's one thing that Coach has really done to help manipulate your game to not only get you ready for season after season, but also when you want to take it to the college level?
He always tells me to keep doing my best, but the real thing was in Game 2, I got my head screamed off, not by Coach, but by a player. My defensive tackle really gave it to me because I wasn't playing how I used to play, and he just gave it to me in the second half. I played a lot better than that.
Do you remember that happening?
I do.
Oh,
it was
okay.
at halftime, and it was our second game of the year, and we played Lincoln Way East, who was just a terrific football team, and they took it to us. I mean, they were probably one of the better teams that we've played in 10 years. So the most physical team that we've played, especially in my career at Montini. They really bring the hitting game. So, you know, we weren't playing very well. We were behind, and we needed to make sure that You know, our attention was being focused the right way. And so one of our kids was really upset. And he really started, not just to give it to him, but he was kind of giving it to the whole team.
Yeah.
So sometimes those are good. It's good to, the raw emotion of the game. But, you know, the coaching staff brought it back together, didn't let it get out of hand. And I thought the kids, even Dylan, you know, he played a very good second half. I mean, we made a game out of it, although we lost, but our kids, I thought, really stepped up their game with emotion.
Yeah. Now we're going to roll some footage from the Marion Central game in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. Coach, what stood out to you to this game in particular? Again, you've been through this circus a time or two. Again, you're going toward your 4th state title. What stood out for you in this game?
Well, unfortunately, that week, one of our sophomore football players who had been battling leukemia passed away. His name was Johnny Weiger, and he was on the sophomore team and did you know, couldn't play, but you know, we were in touch with him. We'd visited him in the hospital. We'd been able to, you know, communicate with him. He was really looking forward to getting back healthy and maybe getting back onto the football field. But he passed away, unfortunately. And our kids, I think, really were motivated because Johnny loved football so much. Our kids were very motivated to play at another level emotionally. And so we were the underdogs in that game because we lost to them in the regular season. And they had beaten us very convincingly. They were really a good team. When we went up there, they were undefeated, 11-0 at that time. They had some really great players on their team. Their quarterback is going to Minnesota, a kid named Chris Streveler. He's a terrific football player. So, you know, for us to go up there and have to beat them on their field in a big game as an underdog, I think really the motivation to play at their best came from Johnny. And our kids just played at another level.
Yeah.
They were just out of their minds playing football that night. And it was great to see a state championship attitude out of our team. You know, nobody is as good as we are when we're playing our best. You know, no matter what anybody else says on the outside, you know, from the inside out, we know what we can do. And our kids just really played their best game of the year.
Dylan, something that stands out for you with that game?
The Marion Central game, everybody was more hyped up than they've ever been before. Everybody loved Johnny. Johnny was an inspiration to all of us. The week, I think it was a Wednesday, they announced that he had passed away. The whole school, there was maybe one person in the school that wasn't crying. Everybody was so close to him, and when he went to the hospital, the football team went and visited him, so he was a big deal to all of us. He was an inspiration. That's the reason they won that game. We all thought if he could battle through leukemia for 8 months, we could win this game.
And congratulations on that one. Now, Coach, 2 more years tacked on at the end of this. How are you going to make it 5 and 6?
The pressure's on again. Well, these guys are already talking about it, so, you know, all I know is we're going to work hard, we're going to do our best, we're going to prepare for every game, and you know, we'll be in the hunt. So if it's meant to be, we'll have to win the close games, we'll have to learn how to win, you know, in situation football, and we'll have to be the best team that, you know, these guys will be allowed to, you know, buy into. So you know, it's a year by year, and every game, again, like I said, every game's different. You never know what's going to happen. You got to get the bounce of the ball once in a while. That's happened to us a few times. So, but these guys they're going to play hard. I know that. So that's all I really worry about.
Now, Dylan, you're going to be a senior next year. Not to say you're not a leader now, but definitely going to have that leadership role on the team. What are you looking forward to for your senior year?
I'm looking forward to making it a 5P. We're already talking about the drive for 5. I'm trying to get everybody in the weight room at school. We all got to get a lot bigger, a lot stronger. We're losing a lot of key players from last year. Our guard was 6'5", 300 pounds, and he was just a tank. A lot of players leaving. Joey Borsellino, great receiver. Mike Dusak, Mark Georgianis. A lot of big spots to replace. We're going to have to work on.
Well, best of luck to you guys. You know, it's been a pleasure for us broadcasting those championship games 4 in a row. You know, we hope it's 5-2. You always give great football.
We will definitely show up and be there.
Absolutely. All right, well, for Coach Dillon, thank you so much for your time. And for Sportstownchicago.com, the only center for broadcasting is Peter Ferrari for the Coach's Corner in Montini Catholic, home of the Broncos. For more Coach's Corners and for more information about your career in broadcasting, go to beonair.com, call 630-916-1700, Sportstownchicago.com, in a league of our own.